Voting day for most Canadians is October 21st, but there's one group that'll get their chance to cast their ballots tomorrow. A polling station will be set up in every Canadian prison to give prisoners the chance to exercise their right to vote. Mira Baines has been looking into this. So let's start with the numbers of incarcerated voters, Mira. How many people are we talking about?
Well, there's a potentially large voting bloc that's inside facilities across Canada, federally, territorially, or provincially. So back in 2002, prisoners, long-term prisoners, were ruled to get the right to vote by the Supreme Court of Canada, that it was within their constitutional rights. Let's take a look at some of the numbers. According to Stats Canada, in 2017, 2018, there were about 39,000 adults who were being held in custody. Voter turnout in the 2015 federal election was just over 50%. And compare that to the general voter turnout, which was at 68%. So that's a significant difference. And part of the issue, according to prisoners' rights advocates, is that they can't go to a regular polling station in their riding. So these ones are set up in prison facilities where they might not have a lot of information about the particular riding that they're voting in.
Okay, and the process for inmates is different. Can you take us through that?
Well, it is very different. And as I mentioned, part of the problem is a lot of prisoners don't really realize which riding that they're supposed to be voting in. So Elections Canada does have a list of places where they can potentially vote. So this is a list of ridings that they can vote in. His or her residence before they were being arrested, their spouse or family members riding, their place of arrest, or the last court where the prisoner was convicted or sentenced. And so they also have to register to vote, and they receive a voting kit. And so now this can be problematic because the prisoner has to write down the name of the person that they're voting for. And this can potentially lead to a lot of spelling mistakes. So they aren't voting off a list like we would have at a polling station. They actually have to write that name down. And so when then there's a spelling mistake, then of course there's a group of observers who get to open up the ballot, take a look, and then they have to decide, well, who did they actually intend to vote for? So this can be problematic. So in the 2015 federal election, about 7.5% of those ballots cast by inmates were rejected. And so all in all, this can be potentially problematic, and some prisoners' rights advocates say that they want to give some of them more information and they want to be able to go into prisons. But this is a potentially controversial problem because a lot of people sometimes feel that maybe they shouldn't deserve the right to vote, even though the Supreme Court of Canada ruled otherwise.
Okay, thank you for this, Mira.